Well, welcome to the overview of the Manifesting Your Dreams course, part of the online spiritual holistic coaching and healing certification program. Hi, I'm Philip Mountrose with my wonderful partner and wife, Jane Mountrose,
Hi, everybody.
co-directors of Awakenings Institute, our nonprofit organization. And this, I think, will be a very insightful overview and get some real tips and ahas and hands-on ideas on how to manifest as we go forward into what we cover in this 12-week program. And might want to manifest what? Better health, better career, better wealth, relationships, or something else to help yourself and indeed others and the planet, which badly needs it. You probably have noticed. So you're going to receive some keys, some tools, some inspiration to go forward and how to go forward further. Because as we know, the world is heating up. There's a lot of tensions, a lot of divisions in race and religion, climate, geography, identity, and more. And this creates a lot of anxiety. We're in this sort of cauldron of depression and division. And it's easy to get lost and overwhelmed, and a lot of people get stuck there. But the promise is if you learn how to manifest, if you get the right tools, knowledge, and support, which most people are lacking, if you get that, and we're going to show you an introduction here today, and you can go further if you choose, well, that can make really all the difference. And Jane and I started off decades ago uh, and looking for more enlightenment, looking for more tools and knowledge. And we found some, but eventually in our regular jobs, Jane as an architect, myself uh, as a educator, we burnt out, shall we say, and started going further, finding more tools and knowledge, and eventually went full time into spiritual coaching and healing. So it's wonderful to have these tools and knowledge that we'll be sharing with you today. Uh, and stay tuned, especially for the end, because we're going to have a powerful demonstration of how to manifest with some holistic EFT uh, experiential, which is always fun and spontaneous and can be even life changing. Jane, do you want to start? Well, actually, why don't we mention what some of the people have said about our program, because this is an overview of the program. I'll just share one of the kind of testimonials we get for the right person, such as Jen Peters here, who took our program from, she was from New Zealand. She spent 2 years, she said, searching for these courses. I knew I was looking for something, but I wasn't sure what until I came across them. It's helped me enormously and in unexpected ways. It provides structure, and that's important, to an area that is traditionally quite ethereal and difficult to put into meaningful processes. I don't know of any other courses even remotely like these with the scope they have. This program has literally ignited the light within it. It's for anyone who's seeking a deeper understanding of who we really are and what we are here to do. These courses are the bridge into the bigger picture for those who have an awareness that there's more to life than meets the eye. And so, Jane, part of what we have developed is this transformational triad. You want to share that with people?
Yeah. And as Jen Peters said in her quote just now, it's more than just a set. This is Buddy, by the way. He loves he loves Zoom for some reason.
He's
I think he likes the
a Zoom
energy.
type dog. Yeah.
Right. He's my little pal. Anyhow, uh, did you want to go back to the image?
Yeah. Let me do
Somehow
that.
we lost the image
Yeah.
because I think it's really a good illustration. It's more than just a set of processes. Coaching and healing both there are a lot of techniques you can learn, but we're teaching in addition to that kind of the big picture, and why it makes sense to us from a transformational perspective. In other words, becoming the creators who we truly are and making a real difference in the world and wherever
Mm-hmm.
we are. If we're making a difference already, making a bigger difference, taking our next steps, and viewing the bigger picture, which you can see in this diagram. The next course, which is, you could say, relates to dream development on this diagram. There isn't actually in order, it isn't 1, 2, 3. They are all part of part of a big whole. We have dream development, self-development, and purpose development. And you could say self-development answers the question, who am I? These are the big questions. Purpose development answers the question, where am I going? And no, I think purpose development answers the question, why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? And then dream development answers the question, where am I going? So it is a powerful triad, which actually relates in a deeper level to the threefold flame of the Creator's presence in the heart. And within each one, there are a whole lot of techniques and opportunities for you to learn and to grow. And we still learn more every time we teach it, which is amazing. So again, looking at the dream development one, that would be manifesting your dreams. Purpose development is awakening to your true purpose, and self-development is the heart and soul of coaching and healing. Those are the 3 courses that we teach in the year-long program. And of course, in the end, the goal is to live life to the fullest, to live fully and grow and manifest or recognize our greatness, I think, and realize that we are creators because we have the Creator within us.
Mm-hmm. And that would take us to, we're going to cover the 12 weeks of this first course, this Manifesting Your Dreams course. And that would take us to week 1, what we teach there. We're giving little snapshots of each week here in this overview today. Jane?
Right. And it does give you kind of a sense, if you're in the course, of where we're going, if you're considering the course, of what the possibilities are. And with this one, in Manifesting Your Dreams course, we start with what we describe as a coaching matrix here under week 1, which is our roadmap. We have a 7-step roadmap. We call it the heart and soul, the Heart of Success roadmap. And in this course, we'll be going through all 7 steps over 12 weeks. So there's more weeks than there are steps, but it's an amazing process that allows us to really hone in on how we can make that happen. What we've found with more than 30 years in the field now is that one of the first problems is not having a sense of what the big picture is. Like, what am I wanting to do? Where am I in this process? And so we do we have a lot of ways of defining that. And this is the big picture, the Heart of Success roadmap. Along with that, we teach a process we call the Apex Healing process, or Mud to Mountaintop, which is it's really just one of the most amazing and simple ways to solve problems and actually to shift energy. It's quite remarkable. This also we view as the time when we discuss step 1 of the roadmap, and I will be describing all the steps here today. Step 1 is setting your course. In other words, really just taking control. Who's driving the car? A lot of times for people, it's not really the best of us that's driving the car. It's like reacting to this and that and people and all these different things that are happening. But it's really like stepping into the driver's seat with the part that matters, that soulful perspective in your heart. So that's step 1. And it's an exciting journey. That was the thing, I think, when we connected with that love and truth in our hearts, that really, really changed our lives in dramatic ways. Well, it's been quite a while now, but it still is amazing, and there's still more. We're still discovering more.
Always learning, always discovering, and that's a beautiful place to be, and it's probably where all of you are. And it's a very open, soulful place to be. And of course, there's challenges along the way, which is what we help you with in this program. And so you can help other people with the challenges they inevitably have and what they're here to figure out and overcome. And in week 2, we go into what we call soul centering, which we also uh, introduce in week 1. And that's a cornerstone of the whole program, i.e., connecting with your deeper heart, soulful presence, that eternal presence that's directing you as you open yourself up to it and grow and mature into it and are more conscious of it, and how to connect with that for awareness and healing. And since this is a manifestation course, we have these 12 principles of manifestation. And you can use that with the soul centering too. And when you connect with the soul, your world really changes. It did for Jane and myself decades ago when we learned our beginning of a conscious soul connection. It's interesting. Many programs talk about the soul, but it's very vague and abstract, and it's just sort of an idea. We actually have a concrete experiences of it, so you know when you're in it and when you're out of it and how to get back there. And that will help you with these 12 principles of manifesting. Again, what do you want to manifest? Better career, better purpose, health, relationships, combination. And some of the manifestations, people really enjoy this list. That's one of the things they report to us. We've taught this program for decades now and keep updating and revising and improving it. Is this principles of manifestation. And a couple of them is just how strong is your desire? How strong do you desire this manifestation of better health, wealth, career, relationships? How much do you expect it? So, I mean, if you desire it but don't expect it, you can see why that could be a problem. How open are you to it to come in different ways? Or are you just set on this very fixed one way that it happens to happen this way, and it'll kind of go right by you because it's coming in a different way that will work for you? Or how much will do you have? How much determination and persistence are you going to commit to it? Are you going to give up to it? So that just gives you like a flavor. There's difference of them. We go more into it. But when you have this checklist and this way of assessing, hey, this is working, maybe I need to look more at this, it can be a very useful tool for you and to help others. Jane, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, this is step 2 of the roadmap, which is uncover your heartfelt joy.
Right.
Which is, of course, this is going back, buddy. So silly. Which is, of course, right here. Interestingly. And it's interesting also because we have been doing healing for 30 years plus now. We started actually focusing more on ourselves in the late 1980s. And over the many, many years, it has become very clear that the most powerful healer is the vibration of love, which is, of course, here too. So everything starts to fall together in a very fluid and synchronous way when you understand it. This physically, how to do the processes, and also spiritually why it is that they're as powerful as they are.
Right. And neuroscience has shown, even in research, when you have the right powerful processes, it actually kind of resets and reprograms your brain physically, so you're not reacting, and you have this more empowered, resourceful place that you can live your life from and manifest your dreams, as opposed to being reactive and having all this unconscious stuff slowing you down, protection from years ago that you no longer need once you find out how to get free of it, which has to do with connecting with your soul, getting the right tools, knowledge, and support.
Right. And that brings us to step 3.
Yes, and step 3 in week 3 of the course,
which is connecting with your heartfelt dreams. Now that you've connected with the heart and open to what's there, then how do you do effective goal setting? Goal setting is a very common term, and it can be more or less effective depending on how you approach it. We've been obviously doing this for many years too, and we've created certain ways of working with it that are, I think, original to us, and some of them unique to us, and some of them that we've drawn from other places. One of the ones that's very unique that we use is what we call ground rules. And it's a concept we developed that allows us to decide, well, on the most basic level, how does my reality work? Like, I'm able to realize my dreams with joy and ease. That might be a ground rule. And so with that, everything that you're expecting can come from that perspective. And of course, you can set your ground rules to be anything you want. For me, being in the flow with joy and ease is one of the best places to be. And of course, that I always intend my goals to honor everyone concerned and to be in the highest interest and for the highest good of all. So you can have all of those things in your ground rules, so that then when you say, I would like to create whatever it is, you have a foundation for it that is strong and resonates. And again, this is all of these different things are clarifying, so that you get beyond that place where there's confusion about, well, is this the right thing, or is this really what I want? Or do I have to keep saying this over and over that I want it for my highest good? You just say it once and you have it in your ground rules. It's there for everything. Kind of like having these all-purpose solutions to things. And then how do you focus? How do you focus on the things that are most important? So we go into all that with the goal setting. At that time, we also go into something that's common in life coaching, which is the coaching wheel of life. And did you have an image of that, Phil?
Yeah,
you were going
there
to
we
show?
go.
This is a very common tool, and we use it in different ways in this course. So we show you how to use this for yourself and for working with clients. And it's a tool for clarifying where a person wants to go. So that's the wheel of life.
Right. And that takes us to the next week, 4 of 12 in the Manifesting Your Dreams course, part of the Spiritual Holistic Coaching Healing Certification Program. We do some NLP coaching techniques. What is NLP? Neuro Linguistic Programming, a big word for coordinating your body and your nervous system with your mind and your language. So if you, for example, if you sit up straight, that's one thing, and that will probably have your words come out differently than if you're slouched. And there's a body posture alignment process that we do. So if you're focusing on words like depression, anxiety, downturn, loss, your body tends to align with those kind of words, especially if you're just not conscious about it. And then as you start to think of freedom, empowerment, love, soul connection, your body will probably, you'll notice, start to straighten up. So that's a way of coordinating your nerves, your nervous system, your brain, your spinal system with your mind and brain, and a kind of coherence, which is very powerful. So again, all this I know we're covering rather quickly, but this is an overview. The idea is to actually learn how to do this and integrate it into your being. So it just becomes part of who you are to help yourself and other people. Jane, did you want to add anything to that?
I think that body posture as an indicator is really fascinating. Like Philip said, if you start to say a few of those words like disappointment, horror, sadness, fear, anger, meanness, you can feel your energy collapsing. I see it leaning back going.
Uh-oh. What's the next word? He's cowering.
But really, there is a solution, and it's to shift your focus to things like love and harmony and joy and blessings and light. And the word yes. The word yes is a very powerful word. It's to say just yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, I find my body is lifting and straightening. Right. So posture is a very good indicator. And if you're feeling kind of down, straightening up is a good place to start, because you can't be down when your posture is up. So, and then of course there you can go from there, build on it from there.
I know one of the ladies who just graduated from our spiritual holistic coaching program had actually taken other spiritual coaching programs, whole programs, and she found them all interesting but very impractical. Like it's sort of almost like interesting discussions. What we do and what she found particularly helpful is how to integrate this, what to do, how to have actual exercises that you can use and will literally change your life and show people how to change spiritually and holistically, not just talk about it. In other words, take the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge and turn it into being.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ready for week 5?
Week 5.
And this is another exciting one. What is described here as introductory consultations and initial sessions. Kind of sounds a little abstract. What it is actually a priceless coaching process that we use. It's one of the primary coaching processes that we teach, which is for helping yourself and helping the people you work with to be really clear on where they are, where they want to be, what is holding them back, how to overcome it, and then what your next steps are. So it's all within this process. And it is really quite remarkable. If you know this process, it's a really great start for oneself personally, and it also is quite helpful working with clients, because if you can help them to be clear in all those ways, and say, well, then this is where we can go from here. You've given them a really good full picture of it, and it's very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
People generally are confused. They don't really quite understand how to proceed from where they are to where they want to get, and maybe sometimes they don't even know where they want to go. So if we can start with some clarification and some assurance that there is always, wherever you are, there is a next step for you. You're in the perfect place for that next step, and we want people to understand that. So this is really a wonderful process that we learned, and some people have focused on teaching it, and they claim to have a special way of doing it and charge $2,000 for it or something, but really, it's not that complicated, and anyone can do it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a great tool.
And that takes us to week 6 of 12 in the Manifesting Your Dreams course upcoming next week, February 13th.
Yeah, now we're finally moving into the step 4. We put in a bunch of coaching things in the middle. Clearing resistance.
Yeah, the roadmap, our Heart of Success roadmap, clearing resistance is really
Right.
important, often missed in the spiritual journey. There's a lot of resistance, shadow work, karma, these kind of things. What do you do? People can actually clear lifetime or lifetime's worth of blockage and clearing through this program. And one of the powerful tools that we use is hypnotherapy, a holistic version of hypnotherapy, and NLP, again, that neuro linguistic programming. NLP came from out of hypnotherapy. Representation systems. What am I talking about? Well, having studied extensively hypnotherapy, we've sort of boiled it down to I sometimes call it crash course. Some little parts of this
Right.
program are crash courses in these powerful modalities like hypnotherapy, and condensing it. And since we understand it very well, how to get the course. So some people will be learning it for the first time, some will be reviewing it. But the core elements of hypnotherapy, hypno trance, relaxing your body, going into therapy and healing, has to do with how to relax, how to have hypnotic suggestions, powerful suggestions, how to frame them when you are relaxed, which can change your unconscious mind versus just standard affirmations, how to have visualization, and how to go in and out of trance. And these core elements are very powerful, and we show you how to do them, and you can apply them across different modalities. In the NLP representation systems, what that means is your inner senses, which also correspond to your intuition, your inner vision, visualizing, your inner hearing, hearing messages and sounds, your inner feeling, your body feeling. So, for instance, if you think of a grocery store, think of being in a grocery store. that will be in your mind, evoke inner senses. You may be getting pictures of that grocery store. You may be hearing sounds. You may getting a sense or a feeling. So all of that can be attuned, and that's going on all the time unconsciously. The idea is you want to first become conscious of it, and two, begin to use it and shape it for healing and spiritual growth. So Jane, anything else about hypnotherapy, NLP?
Well, I think one thing about representation systems that's really important is to understand that people process information differently.
Right.
Like some people are more visual. I'm pretty visual. It's kind of like for me, seeing is believing. And Philip talks to me about things sometimes, and I say, I need to see it. I just can't figure it out unless I can see it. Some people are more auditory, so they're more in tune with what they're hearing.
Right.
Others are more feeling oriented, more kinesthetic. So actually and it's slower. This is another thing.
Feeling in the body.
Different representation systems have different needs. So when you're working with people, it's very helpful to understand where they're coming from, and also to be aiming what you're offering to them in a way that they can process it through their senses in their way, even though it might not be your own way. So that's very important. Some people are even, their primary sense has to do with the smell or taste. Like food critics, they're probably people who their primary sense may be the sense of taste.
Or very strong, at least.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, right. There are people with that as their primary one. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when you see all the cooking shows on TV and you think, well, gosh, how can they be so specific about these things? Well, they're in tune with that naturally. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating how we're all unique and how we can invite whatever is really most natural to people to come out.
Maybe you're getting a sense now in this 12-week course, the manifesting your dreams, that there's a lot to it, which is true.
Right.
But that's why it takes some time, and we're teaching for mastery. It's not a 2-week course. It's not a 3-week course, because the people who want to really learn this for their life and change and grow spiritually on a deep level, people have huge transformations. They manifest careers, they heal illnesses and sicknesses and back pain and being overweight. All kinds of manifestations come out of this because you're focusing on it and learning the tools. So it takes some time, but it's well worth it, and it's rather fun because there's a wonderful spiritual community of support to practice with and grow.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So that takes us to week 7, Jane, of 12.
Right. And this is where we go into using imagery, which is very powerful. And again, imagery is not just what you see. Imagery is what you hear when you're focused on an image or a scene. It's what you feel in your body. There are many different factors that go into imagery. And actually, the more senses you engage when you're perceiving imagery, the more you really go into it. You could say, in terms of hypnosis, you go deeper into that image. So that's really interesting. And with this one, I love this one. We teach an amazing process that it's called going to the perfect place for whatever it is that's ailing you. And I think a person could build a whole practice just on this one process because it's so powerful. You can use it with anything. Oh, there's Sunny.
Hi, Sunny.
Anyhow, it's just a wonderful technique for hypnosis, and you can, like I said, you can use it with everything. And there's another thing that has continuously fascinated me, even up till now and just going forward, is every process is unique. I've been doing this process with people for decades now, and every single one is a surprise. Mm-hmm. It's a surprise to the person who's experiencing it too.
A good surprise.
I haven't experienced two that are the same in any way. They're always unique because we're unique, and what we're doing is we're drawing out information and energy from deep within us. And it's kind of like if you ask, well, what's the perfect place for this or that, the soul knows. So it's amazing. I love it.
is. And that's
Yeah.
why we can stay so excited about this program,
Right.
because manifestation, it doesn't grow old. I mean, you just can go deeper and deeper into it. It's fascinating, and
Right.
to help people manifest is really wonderful. To be sharing and supporting your other classmates in their manifestations is really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes us to week 8. This is very, I would say, pretty crucial information, especially if you don't have a lot of training in counseling. Uh, uh, Research decades ago uh, uh, found 10 essential qualities for successful sessions. In other words, how to be therapeutic. So if you're not sure how to, if you're coming maybe from a healing background, you might be very good at healing, but not know how to communicate these qualities. Well, the first quality, for instance, out of these 10 is being present. That would make sense. But there are other ones, being concrete. How do you be concrete? How do you have warmth? And other keys, which most people who are untrained are missing some of them, can be a real gap in terms of being with people. What do you say? How do you interact in a positive way, even if you have a good intent? So it's actually hands-on tools of things you can easily apply. And similarly, things you want to avoid. Uh, Jacqueline Small, one of the persons who got the original research from elsewhere, was said we added 5 toxic subpersonalities to avoid. So it can be very easy to be a savior. I need to save you from your problem. You say you don't want to be addicted. You say this relationship is hurting you. I need to save you for your own good or please you. I don't want to say anything that upset you. Is that okay? Is that all right? So these kind of subpersonalities, these parts of ourselves, we all have some of them more or less, are things, first of all, to be aware of what they are and then start to monitor them in our own interactions just with people in general. And and then especially for helping other people. And a side note, not everyone we know taking the program is specifically going into coaching and healing others either now or in the future, but it will help you with your communication with others in any event, which is huge. And then, of course, if you do want to help people on whatever basis, this is really critical information to know and understand and integrate. Jane, anything else before we go to the next week, week 9?
I'm ready for week 9 and step 5.
This is a very kind of important, we sort of set the stage here for week 9. Everything else will kind of get you ready for this. There's a method to our madness, by the way, and the way we plan these courses. Jane?
Right. And step 5 in the roadmap is eliminating the hold of the past. And this is where we go into age regression and past life regression. And if you don't believe in past life regression, that's fine. If you don't believe in past lives, personally, I've found it to be a very powerful part of, I think, my own healing and understanding myself, because a lot of the things that were blocking me earlier in life were things that were coming from the past, the distant past. Like one time years ago, I was extremely shy, and I could barely talk in any situation. If a small group of even 5 people would be very frightening to me. And then we started working with some spiritual teachers who taught us really a lot of things beyond normal hypnotherapy, etc. And I went into this process because I wanted to know, well, why is my expression so blocked? Why is it that I can't be myself? And what happened is that I went into a past life where I was being burned at the stake. And I could feel the flames coming up from my feet all the way up through my body. It was just terrifying. But in that process, I was able to release all of the intensity of it. No, he doesn't have a hard time expressing himself, unfortunately. I think the mailman might be here. The mailman is like their nemesis, it's like, it's interesting because the
They
mail
have
truck, if it just drives down the street and doesn't stop at our house even, they'll just go crazy. Anyhow, we apologize, but that's them. Anyhow, so age regression, past life regression, they're very powerful and can completely change things for people. I think that was such a relief for me. Because we have those things. Like we're here for specific reasons. We go into that in the program too. Like some of us are here to, this is our other dog, to express ourselves as teachers, as trainers, as spiritual guides, whatever our mission might be. That's just one thing. It's the throat chakra as a focus, and we can't do it fully because we have blockages. So it is by clearing those blockages that we are able to blossom, and that's true for all of us. It's very unique for each person, but that's what we're exploring is these bigger picture aspects of who we are and what has brought us where we are now, and how we can move forward and blossom and become really completely immersed in our purpose in a positive way. So along with that, we are also teaching. We use a lot of EFT. We also use a process that we originated ourselves. We call it reframing and anchoring. It's drawn from NLP, using the soul's energy for healing. That is amazingly effective. We would say as effective as EFT. It's just different. So along with that, we're teaching these different healing techniques.
So week 10 is a follow-up to that age regression of week 9, and the age regression often goes back to the first few years of life, but sometimes the past lives, not as often. But in week 10, we focus another aspect of clearing resistance is that inner child awareness and healing. You may know that there was studies in the 1990s by Kaiser called adverse childhood experiences. They're called ACERs. So basically, most people have had one or more losses, serious problems or traumas in childhood. We're talking about abuse, physical, sexual, verbal abuse, neglect, a parent in prison or hospitalized or divorce. All kinds of things like that are very common. And these are picked up, of course, by yourself as a child, and then they're still there sort of stuck with you until you heal them. And they're actually there as a resource if you do heal them to grow and have post-traumatic growth. So they actually can be a wonderful resource for you once you know what to do with them, instead of just hot potato, oh no, I don't want to go there. And I know one of my clients, Mary, she was having a challenge with her business, and it was traced back to her father, because her father was there as a stability for her. She had her own business, and she was worried about it sort of collapsing or going south. And she was reminded of her father, who was there as a financial stability, and he had some financial problems and then eventually died. So she kept on triggering back to that instability, just remembering her relationship with her father, just to give you one example. And basically, more or less everyone has those triggers, those blocks, those resistances that are slowing up until when? Until you find a way to get the right tools, knowledge, and support, like this program would give you, to clear them, and you get a lot of empowerment and freedom from that.
Right.
So that takes us, Jane, to week 11 of 12 in the Manifesting Your Dreams course.
Right. And now we're on step 6, which is shifting into manifestation mode. And this is like moving towards the end of the 7 steps. We've set our course. We've connected with that heartfelt joy. We set our goals. We cleared resistance. We eliminated the hold of the past. And I wanted to mention a wonderful quote that I think is so powerful. Your history is not your destiny. When you look at releasing the hold of the past, it's so powerful to understand that who you've been is not who you can be necessarily. We want to bring obviously the positive strengths from the past and let go of those things that were really the illusions of limitation that we can live without more joyfully without. So that takes us to shifting into manifestation mode. And we have in this week, we teach something we call the belief buster process. Because as you likely know, a lot of times you get, you get what you believe you're going to get. So where people have limiting beliefs, we want to bring them out and clear them. And so we have the belief buster process, which is another really powerful one and allows people to move freely forward, which is where we're aiming to go, is wanting to take action towards your dreams in a way that you feel inspired and free and joyful and excited about what you're doing every day. I know for myself, I didn't mention earlier, when I started connecting with the truth in my heart and did the process we call soul centering, that when I was still an architect, I hardly wanted to get up in the morning. I was kind of like, oh, another day. And when I started doing the soul centering and connected with that truth and viewing myself from that place, which is very different. We perceive ourselves differently when we perceive ourselves from that truth in our hearts. I got within a week or so, I couldn't wait to get up. And I'm still that way. I get up very early in the morning. I can't wait to get up. Every day is exciting for me. So that's what we want. That's the kind of energy we want to be able to bring to the action that we take. We're preparing to take inspired action, which is step 7.
Right. And that's step 7 out of 7 of the
Right.
training. We have a process that is very kind of a fun, powerful process that we call it your brightest possible future. It's a process, it's a visualization that we developed. And you see your future before you, and any blocks on the way, you can clear that with the tools you've been learning in the course: holistic EFT, NLP, hypnotherapy, the healing from the soul. One of the students, he wanted to manifest a better career or improved situation financially, and he went through this process, and a couple weeks afterwards he got a new job offer for twice the income. And sometimes these things happen quite quickly, and sometimes they take different forms or happen slowly. And part of that, the manifestation, which sometimes people miss, which is critical, is what we call taking action. You must take action on your dreams and goals. That makes sense, right? So what will happen to your dreams when you take action? Well, they might, like Victor, like the example I gave you, manifest maybe quickly, may take some time. You might be given more opportunities to change. Maybe you need to shift some things to manifest. Maybe you're going to come across new information. There might be a lot of synchronicities. The manifestation, and this happens a lot, comes in a different form if you recognize it. So you want to be open to that. And being in a spiritual community like this program, the Holistic Spiritual Coaching and Healing Program that we're discussing, you're in a very good place to be supported and to see things differently when they come your way. Or maybe you're just going to just quit, stop, and so forth. I mean, you can change manifestations and find maybe something different, but you can give up too, which is a shame if it's something that's really heartfelt and soulful that you want.
Right. And a lot of people do, which is sad. When we look at the brightest possible future idea, it's interesting to think of the past, present, and future as being on a trajectory. You could say we're on a path that's going in a certain direction. And I was trying to think, as I was just thinking about this, how I could describe that. One example might be when I was very blocked when I was afraid to express myself because essentially I thought I would die, right? Unconsciously, because I had the memory of being burned at the stake. And since then I've discovered that wasn't the only time. We tend to repeat things. Anyhow, the trajectory that I would be on with that, if I wanted to move into really my life's calling, which is, say, teaching and healing, it's not a really bright trajectory because of all the pain of not being able to really express what I wanted to express. With that clearing and others, and then opening spiritually in many, many ways, my trajectory has shifted quite a bit. And you could say also with that kind of idea of a bright future and, well, being in the flow with joy and ease and knowing that I'm on the right path for what my soul came here for, then the trajectory starts to move in a very positive direction, which is what we want. We want to be in this state of lifting up and seeing the many, many blessings that are coming our way when we close our eyes and view our future. So it's very interesting, that idea that we are creating reality. It's understandable when you look at it from that perspective, because you can say also, I feel really sorry in so many ways for the people who feel that they have to express anger and hatred and rage and fear and all of those things, like that's their life, which is being promoted by certain sectors of our society. The trajectory isn't too good. If you're going to produce more of that, more anger, more fear, more hatred of other people, whatever it is, the future's not going to look very bright. And I think that's what they see. They just don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, there's a better way, and at times we all get lost in kind of fear and doubt and separation.
Right.
But there's
But
a way
love is
out.
the solution, you see.
It still is the solution.
It actually is. When you think of, if everybody came from a loving place, there would be no poverty in the world. There would be no war. We would take care of each other. The environment would be cared for. We'd care for our animals and all of nature. We'd care for the environment. And yet we think that we have to fight our way to freedom.
Right.
Something to consider.
Yep. So that was the 12 weeks of what we teach in that 12-week course, which is one of the 3 courses for the Spiritual Coaching Healing Certification Program. We also even have some bonuses of a little course we did a while ago, which is very rich in an enrichment on the science of getting rich. You may know that classic book by Wallace Wattles, and some audios on how to integrate it with EFT. So one of the things we want to do with you is demonstrate our miracle reframe process with EFT to show how this works. And Jane, you want to go for that? Do a little demo for us?
Yeah. And we have a volunteer right
What
here.
do you know?
Babs, who is a minister with Awakenings Institute, and she is a graduate of this program. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Non-denominational nonprofit organization, Awakenings.
Right. Yeah. So we're wanting to do the miracle reframe on something that might be blocking you. Did you have something in mind?
So I was just thinking about, like, I know we want to keep it kind of short, so I was thinking about my messy desk.
That's a good one.
Philip and I, if you don't know, Awakenings also has a Circle of Love and Light that's on Sundays. I'm going to put a little plug out there. You can find it on their Facebook page. Anyway, it's a wonderful time. And so when Philip and I were there, we were talking about the energies of February, and one of those things about manifesting, and my messy desk came up. So I said, oh yes, I've done a little bit of work on it, but I think I still need a little bit. There's still something. It's still a little bit messy. So I thought that'd be a good thing to do.
Okay, that sounds good. And it is interesting if you think of your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality, that
Mhm.
when we see things like that, that's something to really explore. And actually, Philip, would you like to describe that process with the messy closet?
Oh, right. We did
This is a
a
deviation,
one
but
of
it's
our
so funny.
processes, another process called the breakthrough process on this subject, though, that which many people have clutter somewhere in their life, or maybe a lot. And this lady had a messy closet. And that was the process focusing on it, a little similar to what we're going to do in a moment here with Babs. And after the process, she cleared it. We did some inner child work, which was part of that process, and cleared it with EFT. And I checked back with Carol a couple weeks after the process and said, "Hey, Carol, how's the closet? How are things going?" "Hey, great. The closet I cleared out. And oh, by the way, I got a divorce too." So she cleared out more than just her closet.
I'm
And of
hoping
course
mine doesn't go that far.
right. Well, no,
But
and
I'm not saying
that's
that's going to
okay.
happen to you, Babs, by the way. I don't mean to
Right,
spook
it
you
would,
on that.
you're right, that would only be appropriate where there is something lingering that hasn't been dealt with.
Exactly.
Right.
But I think that's so funny. Oh, and I got a divorce. Very funny. Anyhow, so your messy desk.
Mhm.
So what is the history of the messy desk? Is it something that's kind of been around for a long time?
It's been around. The messy desk has been around for a long time, I think, because I have many, I always kind of like I have many hats that I wear. I'm a
Yeah.
mom, I take care of my elderly parents, I have the stuff I do on my discords and my job and a lot of animals. And so I think that is always the story behind it, is that like I've got so much going on that I'll just keep piling and I'll get to it eventually. Maybe I think that might be maybe get to it eventually, or um, that what I'm doing at this moment is more important than these other things. Taking care of that messy desk. Possibly also the tyranny of the urgent, like there's something that's urgent, and sometimes obviously there is an urgent thing that comes up, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe sometimes I'll say some things are more urgent than they really are.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's a reflection of that feeling that there's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
And
too many.
so having so much going on, how does that feel emotionally?
Um, oh, sometimes I do really well with it because I'm a person who can handle many things, but there's other times when it feels overwhelming. There's other
Mm-hmm.
times when it feels like it's just one too many things.
Mm-hmm.
One yeah, it feels the overwhelm is probably the good feeling, overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Right. And just out of curiosity, if you focus on that overwhelm now, where do you feel it in your body?
I feel it more in my chest, more like a weight on my chest,
Mm-hmm.
more heaviness there.
And of course, excuse me, everything is connected and everything has meaning. It always seems to take a process deeper. I generally ask people where they feel it in their body, because even though we might not be aware of it, when we think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I hadn't noticed this, but I had a pain in my neck, or whatever it is. Yeah. So the weight on your chest, um, how strong would you say that is from on a scale of 1 to 10?
Mm. At the most intense times, it's probably like a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
do feel that stiffness in the shoulders, that neck,
Mm-hmm.
that little
Shouldering.
yeah, shoulder. Yeah, that I feel a little bit that feels pinchy, and that would probably be like also a 7 or an 8 at
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times it's nothing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when you're experiencing the overwhelm, how strong is that when you focus on that now?
Mm, yeah, I think it's the same. Also, it's a 7, probably a
Mm-hmm.
7. Scale of 1 to 10. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that comes to mind related to it?
No.
Okay. Foxy, you have to stay down. So would you like to do the miracle reframe?
Yes.
And so this is just a variation on EFT, and we do a variation on EFT anyhow with the way that we do it, and we do it very simply. We don't do it with a lot of statements in the middle. Our focus is on just being present to the energy as you're going through it. So it's very simple, and for me, it feels best when it's peaceful. We want to just be in this focused place with what's happening in this moment. And so just so people know, because a lot of people they say a lot of things during EFT. And actually, it's interesting because thought field therapy, which was the origin of EFT, didn't have any words in it at all. It was just a tapping on different points on the body. So a lot of really the talk to me can in some ways be distracting rather than just being in the moment with what you're actually focusing on and healing and clearing. So I just wanted to mention that for anybody who's not familiar with our approach to EFT. Anyhow, so the affirmation then is different for EFT. It starts with repeating an affirmation 3 times while generally tapping on the side of a hand, but I'm going to suggest something different for that too. And the affirmation is generally something like, even though I have this, whatever it is. So for Babs, it is this overwhelm. And Philip would often say, even though a part of me is overwhelmed, because it isn't all of her, you can say either one. I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. That's what we're wanting to say in this one. The one that is generally is, even though I have this overwhelm or whatever it is, I still can love and accept myself. Something along those lines. So that's one of the differences. Just focusing on that idea of miracles, which is a very high vibration. So what I'm going to offer as an alternative, I mean, there is this one. Another one is to just hold your hands like this across your heart while you repeat the affirmation 3 times. I can see that one relates more. And it does feel really beautiful. It's an emotional release, the idea of the affirmation. So do you have a preference, even though a part of me, or even though I have this?
Even though part of me.
Okay. Even though a part of me becomes overwhelmed, I can love, I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now.
Okay. Even though part of me
is overwhelmed or can get overwhelmed.
Or is overwhelmed, can get overwhelmed.
I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. So we just say it 3 times. Even though a part of me can get overwhelmed,
I know that miracles.
Anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Even though a part of me can get overwhelmed, I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Okay, and then we start the tapping. So if this is new to you, use a couple fingers, just tapping lightly first on the top of the head. So we're tapping on overwhelm. Then inside of the eyebrow, right in here. Overwhelm. Excuse me, side of the eye, right where the bone is. Under the eye, overwhelm. Again, right where the bone is under the eye. Then between the nose and mouth, right in the middle. Chin, and right in the crease here. Then there's collarbone, which you can't see it on me, but it's right towards the middle on the underside, just tapping there. And you can kind of feel there's some sensitive spots. And then side of the body, like you're hugging yourself. It's overwhelm. And then the thing we add is we call it the reset process. And you're tapping now with your whole hand. You want to be tapping on both sides of the brain lightly, like a little hummingbird. I know that anything is possible And then tapping, taking another nice deep breath, tapping on the heart area. And miracles are happening now. And then you can just take a couple nice breaths and let us know what you notice now.
I can notice that my chest feels a little lighter. This side of my neck feels lighter, but this side is still tensed right there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But it's definitely better.
Right. So just to measure how strong is the overwhelm when you focus on it now?
I guess like a 3, 2 to
Mm-hmm.
3, 2 to 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And the weight on your chest?
That's down. That's really not there, really. If I think about the overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Wonderful. And you said you still have some on your left shoulder?
on my left shoulder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How much is that?
That's probably down to a 3-ish.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good shift.
Mm-hmm.
Think we're far enough along to do the floor to ceiling eye roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this one is just an easy, quick little EFT trick. You tap in the space here between your little finger and your ring finger continuously and hold your head forward, starting with your gaze as far as you can look towards the floor. And then over a period of about 6 seconds, raising your gaze as you continue tapping until you see as high up as you can. And then you can stop and take another breath. What do you notice now?
Yeah, my little pinch is gone. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How's that remaining overwhelm?
Yeah, it feels better. I don't know. There's something about the hummingbird. I need to look into the hummingbird a little more, but that was a beautiful image for me because we have had a hummingbird build its nest outside of our door. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So when you focus now on your messy desk, what do you notice?
It just is, but it doesn't feel as overwhelming. It feels like I can continue with my little, I've made myself this little, since the last time we were on the Sunday thing, I made this little agreement with myself as to clean 3 things before I drink my tea in the morning. So I've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't feel as overwhelming. That feels like it's okay.
Mm-hmm. In fact, that's an interesting thought. How does that feel in relation to the idea of taking inspired action rather than like forcing yourself to fight your way through it?
Yeah, it definitely feels more inspired. And I think maybe the hummingbird is inviting to a more light, like that light attitude, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
joyful versus a chore thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joyful invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And of course, every morning you can, before you even do that, you can start the reset process. It can be actually very powerful on its own, just and using it with the miracle reframe. Anything is possible on your head, and just taking a nice full breath and then doing the same thing. And miracles are happening now on your heart. but he's really into the heart today. He keeps leaning in. So funny.
Thank you.
It's a very, very powerful. It's nice if you want to take a break sometime during the day and just say, I'm just going to have a little reset. The breathing is really helpful too.
Yes.
But he says, I love love. It's so good.
I love Buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Babs. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So that was another nice demonstration of a holistic process that we teach. pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Getting some of the subtleties and details down is what you want to learn. Going deeper into it and practicing it and having support and doing it. And you could see if you were to practice, which in the course you would be practicing these kind of techniques every week, and you have support partners you can practice outside of class easily with wonderful like-minded souls. If you can do that, you can imagine the shifts and the accelerated spiritual growth you will experience. And actually, Babs did take our course recently. You want to comment on any of that? About that the experience of taking the
Yeah, it
1 year
was
program?
great. I did the year-long course, so that was amazing. And I think one of the most beautiful things was the people that we get to meet, the people that you get to, in addition to the just whole host of tips, techniques, things that I apply in my daily work as a coach and a healer right now. There's been some amazing yeah, just tools, but I think the sense of that community and the sense of growth and just the, for me personally, it was like a clarity of why I'm here. I still always think of, there's a, in one of the courses, is the greatest lesson, greatest gift. It tied through all of the courses for me, but it just gave a real clear sense to me of why I'm here
Mhm.
on the earth at this time and doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And what I want to be about. It was very, very valuable. It was in the midst of my busy life, I chose to take that time, and I'm so grateful. So grateful that I did. I would recommend it to anybody. So yeah, and
Thank,
Philip and Jane are just lovely, lovely beings. So yeah,
thanks,
Thank you.
Babs. Uh,
yeah.
and that would take us to the upcoming course next week, the Spiritual Holistic Coach Healing Certification Training, starting February 13th, and the Manifestation uh, course, which we just went over, is where we're starting there. And I know people have practical matters, whether they can take the program. It's live on Tuesdays and Thursday, but they're all recorded, all the trainings if you can't make them. And Tuesday is the class and Thursday is the practice. So you integrate what you're learning. Uh, and even though we all have practical concerns and it's might be easy to put it off, but if you're actually drawn to this, it's probably your soul, your deeper awareness that's doing it. And the part that is wondering about it is probably the parts that may not have your highest spiritual interests in mind, all the practical concerns that get in the way. And we recognize that those things have to be uh, looked at too. But a lot of times it's going to take a leap of faith to do this kind of program, although some people just jump right in. Other people need a little bit of hand holding and reassuring, which since we've taught it for 30 years, we know it works very well for the right person. And it'll be a very life-changing program. And you'll meet wonderful people like Babs and other people to support you and to practice with. And some people, as I mentioned, want to do the program. Everyone wants to do it for the accelerated spiritual growth for coaching and healing and tools and knowledge and support you really can't find elsewhere. Uh, and some people want to develop professionally with either enhancing their career or starting one, and it's good for both of those things. Jane, did you want to add to anything about the coaching and healing program? By the way, you go to tinyurl.com/HOL coach to find the description of the page, and then you'll meet with us. We'll talk about what's right, their special payment plans, and how to get going in the program if it's right for you. Jane, did you want to mention some other things about getting going with the program?
Well, I think as you were suggesting, just follow your heart. Your heart knows.
Right, your heart knows, and the description page for the upcoming holistic spiritual coaching healing certification program is tinyurl.com/HOL coach. Set up a time to talk to us, find about payment plans, call us directly at our office, Awakenings Institute, 805-934-1238. And we'd love to connect with you if this seems like the right fit, or maybe at another time we'll be working with you in other ways, or you'll be receiving our other information we share. Uh, Jane, any final words before we close our overview of the Manifesting Your Dreams course?
Well, it feels like it's done to me.
Yeah, so I think follow your heart is good advice. And if you do, I think you'll be very happy that you did. See you later. Great being with
Bye-bye,
you all.
everybody. Thanks, Babs.